Hey, it is time for another Superintendent Snapshot. I'm here in the beautiful old Cypress High School, which we will soon be vacating for the new Cypress High School. Came to do a 30-year recognition, wanted to do a quick video on some questions. I had the opportunity and the privilege to go hang out with our association reps a week and a half or so ago, maybe it was almost 2 weeks ago, and they gave me some additional questions they wanted me to answer that I didn't have time to answer in that meeting. So as I was kind of putting some of those responses together and getting those over, one of these questions keeps coming up, and it made me think that maybe there's a fundamental disconnect on how we actually staff our schools. And so the question was, why are staffing decisions resulting in splits, especially in tested grades, when these are widely known to be problematic? And she's not wrong. Splits are not always a positive thing. They can be a positive thing depending on how they're organized and depending on the circumstances. But when you do get to a smaller school population, they can become very challenging. So let me explain. If I'm at a school with 300 kids in it, and I have that class size ratio, some people have asserted that our class size has gone up. This number has been steady, this FTE ratio, since 2008. That was the last time this was adjusted. So if I take this number and I divide it by this number, I roughly get 11 teachers. Now it's then incumbent upon me as a school staff with the leadership team, the school community council providing feedback to the principal to make a decision on what to do with that 11 FTE. Okay, the district does not influence that decision in any way, shape, or form. We leave that to the local school. So what it asserts here is that we're somehow creating a situation where there's going to have to be splits. We're just staffing the school based on that ratio. Then it's up to the school community to determine how those 11 teachers are allocated. Now, if I'm in a K-5 school with 11 teachers, that's 6 teachers, or that's 6 grade levels into 11, that's clear there's, depending on what those numbers look like, there's going to be at least one split classroom, right? And so it'll be up to the school to determine where that split would occur. The district does not have any influence over that. We can support the school in any way we can, but generally we leave that up to a local decision making. If I now have 600 kids and I have 27.25, that roughly equates to 22 teachers. And again, I'm going to have to split that up between 6 grade levels, if you can read my handwriting. That's obviously going to be a lot easier when I have more students, and I'm going to have 2 teachers at grade levels. Some of my grade levels are going to have 3 teachers, and depending on those circumstances, I might even have 4 teachers at a grade level. That would be a local decision. As we have just passed a proposed budget that will be sent to the Board of Education by June 1st of this year, and then adopted, and then we'll actually have to go through truth and taxation for a potential tax increase. We have proposed additional funding to reduce class size from the K-2 level down to 24, not 27.25. So if I take that 300 and I divide it by 24, I'm actually going to end up with 12 and a half if I had that many kids in my K-2 grades, which probably don't, okay? And comparably, roughly 24 teachers over here on this larger number. So we're actually going line by line and allocating additional FTE to the schools with their class sizes where they have the biggest challenges at that lower grade level. This will be a lot easier as we go into spring projections next year to allocate this new number along with this older, bigger number that's more traditional for our 3rd through 5th grades. So with respect to that, I just wanted to make sure that we're clear. The district's not dictating that we should have splits. In fact, we would prefer that we don't have splits. That's why we're looking at school consolidations and school closures. I know that there are some of our schools sitting at not even this number, but even less than 200 students. And if you're trying to staff a school, I know some of their FTE has been as low as 8 teachers, and trying to divide that between 6 grade levels, you're going to clearly have some splits in that type of situation. We don't think that's good. That's why we're looking at school closures and consolidations to make sure that we're providing the resources in the most beneficial way to our teachers so that we can get the best outcomes for our kids. I hope that makes sense. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to reach back out to us. And there's another Superintendent Snapshot. Have a great rest of your week.